I don't know if you've heard that, but we are having issues with our toilet where it just runs and then stops running. Runs and fills up the bowl, stops filling it up. Just randomly throughout the day without even pushing a lever. And it's a common issue. There's a few components inside the toilet that are easy and quick to replace. They're not too expensive at all. The biggest one is the fill valve here. And they're about $7 to $10. And I'm going to show you how to replace this and explain why this thing is the culprit usually. So first things first, I'm going to explain to you how this toilet works. So you got the very top here, you got the lid here. Let's take the lid off. And then inside here, it holds the water. So when you flush, it brings in all that water and refills the bowl of the toilet. And it allows it to flush all the water that's inside the toilet already and whatever contents you have, whether that's number 2 or number 1 or both. So you got the water in there. And so the purpose of this valve is to bring water in from the water valve here. And it brings it into the bowl here as well. And then it also fills up the toilet bowl down here. So it does 2 parts there. So it's got this little float right here. If I push it down, you can hear it pushes more water in there. So there's a little seal up here that is usually the culprit after a while. It usually gets broken or worn out. You can replace the seal, but for $7 to $10, might as well replace it all. And I'm going to show you a quick, easy method so you don't get any water anywhere and don't have to do cups or drain anything. We're just quick and easy. So we purchased the universal toilet fill valve. It's by Fluid Master. It's about, again, $7 to $10. I'll link one below. You can get it at the hardware store. They're pretty universal here. So here's what it looks like. And it's a pretty simple system here. You got the stem here. This goes through the toilet bowl on the back side. And this rubber gasket goes on top. So that way it forms a seal. And then you have, at the bottom, you have this nut right here. It's a little plastic nut. And this squeezes this to the bottom of the barrel itself, and then also gets this sturdy. Then once this is all the way on, then you have the fill line that goes in there. Well, it twists on here, screws on there. So you have a couple different components in here. So this goes up and down, and it's just a little float valve. So when the water level gets high enough, it stops the water from coming in. But when you flush it, it goes down, and then it fills water in right here through these little slots into the upper portion, and then it's got this little hose that you connect right here, and you'll cut this down to size, and then you connect the other side to here, and it fills your toilet bowl itself. So that's what you got right here. Now, a quick and easy method, you can remove all these parts out of your toilet bowl or the upper portion, or you can slip this collar up all the way, and then you can pull this portion up off of there and leave this portion inside the toilet. As long as this rubber seal right here is good, which usually is, you can slide this on to the old stem. That way you don't have to get all the water out. All right, from start to finish here, we got everything ready to go. So here's the water line. It's gonna be usually on the left-hand side. There it is right there. Ours is from the floor. Sometimes it's from the wall. So you'll want to turn off the water, and that will be lefty, loosey, and then righty tighty. So righty to turn it off. You go all the way until it stops turning. And then that water line will go up, like I said, up to the connector right there, the screw connector. Don't undo that yet. But you want to go ahead and flush your toilet. And this will get all the water, or most of the water, out of this top portion. And as you know, there's no water came back in. So now we can go open this up. As you can see in here, we have no water in there. Well, the water's low, so if we were to undo the nut on the bottom of that, all that water would come out. So instead, we're going to just pull this up out of here and then replace it where the water is. If you want to replace the whole thing, right now would be the time you'd want to either sponge that water out or get a bucket, put it underneath here, and then once you get a bucket underneath here, you can unscrew that plastic connector off the plastic piece. And then there's also another plastic connector that holds it to the tank that you'll remove. You may need a pair of pliers. They shouldn't be too tight. But once you remove those two things, this thing will come right out and ready to go. So the first thing you can do is remove this from there. And then we're going to work on getting that out and put the new one in. So you want to kind of take note where the position is of this, how far down it is. And right now it looks like it's about 2 or 3 notches down at the very bottom here. And this top should be about 3 inches from the top of this. So, and as you can see here, the water line actually on that tube is lower than it should be. It should be about a ½ inch. Looks like it's about 1.5 inches. Again, so to remove that, what we're gonna do is take this little plastic collar and slide it up on that one. And then we can pull this one off of that stem. I'm not gonna be able to see it on what I'm trying to do here, but that's essentially what's gonna happen. And if it doesn't come out, there it goes. So now we're going to inspect the O-ring, which is pretty good. So this thing is now done. We're going to take this out. Then we're going to put the new one in. So the plastic piece there, I'm going to put it straight on and push it down about where, it's about 3 inches from there. You can use a measuring tape or kind of guesstimate. And you always want this hose nozzle to point towards that tube. So once we're in there, now we can take that little plastic piece and pull down on it, locking it in place. And you can always take this and adjust how high this is based on how you can fine tune it, how the toilet works. So now we got this piece, and so this works as a clamp that clamps onto that piece right there, the tube. And so one end of that hose goes on top of here, and there's the nozzle right there. So you want that nozzle into to point towards into the tube here, like that. And then kind of measure where you want to cut that. So now we can put it onto the end piece here, the barb, all the way. And this can go on right here. Make sure it goes on the barb all the way. And there you go. So it'll look like that when you're done. So now we can turn back the water on, and you'll just go back to turn left on the nozzle, or on the nozzle, on the connector here, and it will fill water up in there, or should, if you did it right, which it's doing right now. So it should fill this up, and it should fill the toilet bowl below up. So got about ½ inch left. We can also rotate this 1 notch left. This right here, turn it left once, and it'll lower it just a little bit. It's not quite a ½ inch, it's a little more than ½ inch, but that way we're about the right level. You don't want it overfilling onto that, because then you'll never stop. So now all we have to do is put the top on. Put the top on, and you're good to go. Okay, so here's the old one that we took out in one piece here. And then here's the new stem. So we're going to keep the new stem. Oh, there it goes, the plastic piece. Landed on my shoe here. But we're going to keep this just in case. Just in case, for whatever reason, this O-ring fails. Or maybe even this fails. I've never seen this fail, but it's possible. We don't need this anymore. But essentially, the old one, as you can see, it's got water deposits on here. That seal that I'm talking about, that's probably leaking or worn down, is in here. So if you pop this black plastic piece off, it will have that seal in there. And you can replace that seal if you wanted to, but I mean, this whole thing is like $7 to $10. That seal might be a couple bucks or 50 cents, I don't know. But might as well replace it all. Who cares? As you can see, it wasn't that hard to fix. It was quick and easy. If this video helped you out in any way, please leave me a like. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below, and I'm here to help you out. If this is your first time on my channel, please consider subscribing for more tech reviews, home automation, home and automotive how-to videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.